This weekend at UFC 327, in the main event, we've got Jiri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg for the light heavyweight title in one of the sickest fights so far this year. I'm definitely more excited for this fight than I have been for pretty much every other fight this year. This is definitely at least in the top three fights in the last few months for me. And I'm going to give you my breakdown prediction for this fight now in this video. I'll do another video at some point this week talking about the rest of the card, because obviously it's a pretty sick card. Well, we've lost a couple of fights, like Van Tyra's not on it anymore. But we've still got a few decent fights. Blades, obviously, Hockett, Reyes, Walker. This is just a guaranteed meme KO. And we do have a couple other good fights here. Gamrot, Cub Swanson's retirement fight. So I'm still pretty excited for the card, even with the fight cancellations that we've had, which are obviously pretty unfortunate. Anyway, let's just get straight into it with the main event prediction. And I'm going with Jiri Prochazka. I'm going with Jiri by late round stoppage, probably a TKO. I'll say round 4. I'll give that as my official specific prediction, but I'm just going with Jiri, probably by a late finish if I had to guess. And it's probably what you're going to hear a lot of this week. Most people who are predicting this fight, if they're picking Jiri, are probably going to go with Jiri by a late round finish. And even though that's like the I don't know how to explain it, but even though that's, what you're going to be hearing a lot of, and a lot of people breaking down this fight are going to say it, it's just kind of how Jiri wins fights now. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Both of them came by round 3 KO in 3-round fights. Literally the latest it could possibly be. When he won the belt against Glover, there was 30 seconds left in the fight, in a 5-round fight. Rakic was later on in round 2. So every time this guy wins now, it's later on into the fight, and it's usually by knockout. And I think it's going to happen again. Even though, when you just look at them, when I watch their fights, Ulberg is very clearly the cleaner and more technical striker. But it's just, there's something about Jiri in these fights. When he's not fighting Alex Pereira, I think I said it in another video, when this fight first got announced. But unless Jiri is fighting Alex Pereira, I physically cannot pick him to lose the fight. Every time he fights Alex, if he fights Alex again, which might happen, I'm picking Alex to knock him out. If he fights anyone else, I'm picking Jiri. Even Ankalaev, who is way more skilled than Jiri in almost every aspect of the fighting, I'm picking Jiri to finish him. He'll hit him with a fly knee or something and put him away. And it's just, I'm doing it again. I'm done picking guys against Jiri. I picked Rakic against Jiri because I was look at the skill difference. Rakic is very clearly better. And he was better for 8 minutes, and he got nuked and lost. And I was okay, fight Jamal Hill. And I picked Jamal. Now, looking back at it, that was a very bad pick. And I'm never picking Jamal Hill again, because after his injury, he's very clearly not the same fighter. But I picked Jamal when he knocked him out. I did pick him to beat Khalil. I learned my lesson then. Even though, again, when I looked at it, I was Khalil is a better fighter, which we saw, skill-wise. It doesn't matter, Jiri. He'll finish you, he'll find a way to knock you out anyway. And he's going to do it again this weekend, in my opinion. It wouldn't surprise me if Carlos drops him a couple times. It could even be a point where it could get stopped and the ref lets it go. Just a little bit longer because it's Jiri, Give him that respect. Because how tough he is to finish usually. And I think by the end of it, by the end of round 2, round 3, when Jiri's working the body, round 4, Ulberg's new territory for him, He's only had one 5-rounder in the UFC scheduled, and he knocked out Reyes in the first round. So it's not even he's got this experience going later on into the fight, which we know Jiri has done on multiple occasions, whether it's inside or outside the UFC. So I'm going to just have to go with Jiri here. This could look very bad just because he could get nuked. We've seen it happen before outside the UFC, even in the UFC. Obviously only against Alex, whose power is really confusing me now because he's barely flatlined anyone in the UFC. Yeah, you could kind of say Sean, but even then not really, because he was back up on his feet 3 seconds later. But then again, when he's fighting Jiri, he's putting him out, or he's dropping him and hurting him bad with these little shots. But then when Jiri's fighting everyone else who hit hard, Jamal, he hits hard, undoubtedly, he's got good power. Khalil, same thing, got great power. And it's just not affecting Jiri, but when Alex lands a little shovel left hook that he barely got any, he barely even turned into it, he just threw it out there and it lands. That's what nearly flatlines Jiri. It just doesn't make any sense. So, his chin is just built different apparently now. I know he got knocked out before the UFC. I think it was King Mo. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was King Mo, but even then that was over 10 years ago now. That was 2015. So, and that was the last time he got put out properly by someone. I think that was the last time he lost to someone outside of Alex. So I just can't go against him in this fight, even though it could end up being a very bad prediction if he gets absolutely nuked. But that's my official prediction. Jiri by round 4 TKO. I'll just talk about some other things that I'm looking for in this fight. We saw in Yuri's last fight against Khalil. Obviously, he was down 2-0. He looked. It was weird in that fight. Like, obviously, Jiri, a lot of the time when you look at him, he doesn't look good. Like, he'll be losing fights. He'll be getting hit a lot. His defense doesn't look that great. His mechanics are off. But there was something weird with that Roundtree fight. He was like slipping around the octagon a lot. I don't know if he had like a leg injury going into the fight or something. But his movement kind of looked even weirder than it normally does. Especially when you compare it to the Jamal Hill fight that was also last year. That was in January, I think. And I think the Khalil one was in like October. And it's like he looked so much better in that Jamal Hill fight. That Jamal Hill fight, in my opinion, was the best Yuri's ever looked in the UFC. Like, he was actually moving his head, he was avoiding shots, he was slipping, he was countering, he was going to the body, he was going up top, he was throwing in combination, wasn't getting hit as much. Like, it was a good performance by him. He dropped Jamal in the first. I think he lost the second round, but it was a close round. And then in the third round, he got the finish. And I was expecting that against Khalil. I thought it'd be a tough first few minutes, against Khalil when he's getting his reads, blah blah blah. But then it was like he just kept slipping over and fucking losing the rounds. Like, he lost round 1 and I was like, it's alright, I'll turn it on now. Then he loses round 2. I still thought he was going to win. I live bet him at like plus 1,000 after round 2. Like, he got the KO, but those first couple of rounds, it did look weird. Now, obviously, in round 3, he looked fine. I watched the fight back yesterday, and he didn't look fine. He was still getting clipped a lot, but he was putting the pressure on him. He was walking forward, throwing shots to the body. He killed Khalil to the body in round 3. I think it was like 2 minutes into round 3. He throws this combination of just like 4 shots to the body, when Khalil's already like hunched over, dying from these body shots. And at that point, like, when I was watching it live and when I watched it back yesterday, I was like, oh fuck it, that's what did it. Like, I know it was a combination that put him out at the end, but the body work is what won him that fight. The knees to the body. Even in the rounds he was losing, he was landing the knees, and obviously they're going to accumulate over a fight. And I think that's what he's going to do here to Ulberg, who we have seen gas out before in 2 rounds. I know it was his UFC debut, and he like gassed out going for the finish in the first round, but I feel like that inexperience could lead to him, losing in this fight as well. Like, in a 5-round fight, he's never been there before. Especially when I can see like this happening so clearly. Like, this could very like, fuck, I can't even speak. But I could so clearly see Carlos Ulberg landing like a 1-2 just down the middle in the first couple of minutes and dropping Jiri bad. It looking like Yuri's dead, and then Ulberg just piling on the pressure, going for the finish, throwing big shots, ground and pound, everything. Jiri survives it, and then Ulberg's tired. And then Jiri finds a finish. Or Ulberg started to gas out a little bit, and then a few rounds later, once Jiri's landed the body shots, and he's maybe like broke Ulberg's nose or something with a fucking spinning elbow, because that's the type of shit he would do. And then Ulberg's gas, and then he gets the finish, so I can very clearly see that happening. That'll be my official prediction. I think Ulberg's going to drop Jiri early, and then Yuri's going to come back and get the finish. But, yeah, I'm excited for this fight, I was thinking earlier, imagine Jiri didn't like turn it on in round 3 in his last fight, and then this weekend we had Khalil Roundtree versus Carlos Ulberg for the title. I would have been so fucking uninterested. Not uninterested, because it'd still be a good fight. But it's like, this just makes it so much better, Even though if Jiri's the champ, it'll kind of feel like illegitimate, because he's lost to Alex twice. I still would rather have that than have Carlos Ulberg as champ. And I like Ulberg. He's not even, I know people call him boring and stuff. He had a couple of mid-fights, Uzdemir. That's another thing as well. He's not looking good versus guys like Uzdemir and Yan, who aren't bad fighters, but if you're not looking great against them, Yuri's you're probably not gonna look that good against Jiri. And if you don't look good against Jiri, he's gonna knock you the fuck out. So, well, even if you do look good against Jiri, apparently he's gonna knock you out anyway. So that's what I'm gonna go for this fight. Either way, it's a sick fight. I'm excited for it. Like I said, this is a great card as a whole. Well, it's a decent card as a whole. It'll probably be good entertainment-wise, even if it's not the most stacked name value-wise, especially with the recent fight cancellations. Like, the main thing that I think a lot of people were... Well, not the main thing, because obviously loads of people love Jiri and stuff. But Van versus Tara was also one of the most hyped fights so far this year, in my opinion. Especially for me, because Van's probably my favourite fighter right now. That getting cancelled, obviously. Well, not cancelled, but moved back to the next pay-per-view. Made this card look significantly worse, in my opinion. But then again, it made 328 look so much better. Like, we'll go through this card first. But like, Blaze versus Hockey, that's still a pretty good fight. It'll probably be I think Hockey's going to run through him in the first round. But it'll probably be a finish either way. This is guaranteed to be a crazy finish. Azmat versus Costa. I think I might lean towards Costa, but a lot of these fights are high entertainment value. Like either way, I think either Pico's gonna run through Pitbull or Pitbull's gonna catch him and put him out. This again, guaranteed banger. This might not be that great. This is probably gonna be an entertaining scrap. So I think entertainment wise, it's kind of still gonna be good, even with the fights that got lost, which were like obviously Benny versus who's he gonna fight? Torres, which would have been probably a first round finish. Let's be honest. And Van versus Tyra, which was going to be a banger. It's lost quite a bit of entertainment value there, but I still think it's going to be fun. But now this card with Van versus Tyra on it, Loki might be the card of the year. This main event's going to be fucking insane with the press conference and everything, all the hype going into it. Now we've got an actual co-main. When this was the co-main event, I wasn't excited. Like, the co-main event is more important than the main event at halftime for me with a UFC pay-per-view. Because 99% of the time, you're going to be excited for a main event of a pay-per-view. It's always like, if there's a shitty co-main, like 326. I was excited for Max versus Charles, but it's like, really, Reina Dorida versus Caio Borralho in the co-main event. That's kind of how I felt with this fight. Like, it was a good fight, but I wasn't hyped for it as a main event. As a co-main event, sorry. But now that we've got this on the card, this card looks so much better. Like, Bobby as well. Even the prelims are like, this is a sick fight. Ochoa's back, so I don't even know what I'm talking about this card for my Jiri prediction, but obviously, this is still a sick card this weekend, sick main event. And yeah, I'm going to go with Jiri by 4th round TKO. Bet the house. I mean, I got the exact round right of his last fight. I said he'd knock out Khalil in round 3. And he got it, even when he looked shit. So, he's going to do it again this weekend. Either way, I'm hyped. Like I said, I'll do my full card predictions. I don't even know what fucking day it is. It's Monday today. I'll probably do that on like Wednesday or something. I'm going to make a card builder video as well today for the International Fight Week. I know I've already done one like a month ago, but a lot has changed. So I'm going to do a new one now. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Don't follow my TikTok because I got fucking banned this morning for copyright. So that's awesome. Love Paramount. Can't use clips anymore. And yeah, subscribe, follow my Twitter and all that shit. Thank you for watching. Until next time.